viewers, we are going to discuss about flow cytometry today. Flow cytometry is the technique that is used to count the number of cells in a given mixture. For example, let's suppose we are talking about the blood sample. We know that blood sample contains different types of cells and these cells are of different size, shape and complexity. So if we want to find out the number of cells in a mixture and their shape, size and complexity, we go for the technique that is the flow cytometry. Although we can count the number of cells through microscope, but that would be very laborious and it is not as much accurate as the flow cytometry is. So flow cytometry uses the basic principle of the laser generator, that laser generator generates the laser beam that strikes on the cells and that is further detected on the detectors and the analysis is done on the PC. Okay, what we do in the flow cytometry, we make this mixture of the cells to pass through a column. The shape of the column is such that it only allows one cell to pass through its opening at one time. So you can see in this column, we have put on the mixture of the blood in this column plus saline. Why the saline is added? Saline is added in order to make the cells flow directionally through this column. Or when the concentrated solution of salt or water, that is saline, is added along with this blood sample, according to the concentration gradient, it makes the cells pass through this column easily in such a way that only one cell can pass through this opening at one time. So when the cell comes out of this column, the laser generator is put on and it strikes the laser beam to this cell. When the laser beam hits this cell, it is detected on different detectors. You can see 3 different detectors, detector 1, 2 and 3. The laser beam will either strike the detector 1 or detector 2 or detector 3 at a time. So there are 2 basic things to be observed here. Number 1 is the number of cells. So how the number of cells is detected in the flow cytometry? Whenever cell comes out, a laser beam hit upon it, and that is how the number of cells is counted, because the detector, the data from the detector is converted into the graph plot via PC. By the direct counting the number of laser beam that is hitting the cell, we can count the number of the cells. Now, how can we determine the complexity of the cells? So here we have to observe the detectors. There are 3 detectors. Number 1 is at the front and the 2 and 3 are at the sides of the direction of the laser beam. So the front detector is called, when the laser beam is scattered in the forward direction, we will call it as a forward scattered. And the forward scatter is directly proportional to the size of the cell. So whenever a laser beam strikes the cell and the scattered light falls on the detector 1, that means the cell that was that comes out of the column at that time was of bigger size, because we have said that the forward scatter is directly proportional to the size of the cell. So whenever the laser beam falls on the detector 1, that means the cell that came out of this column at that time was of bigger size. So forward scatter tells about the size of the cell, and the side scatter, that is detector 2 and detector 3, they are called the side scatter. The side scatter shows us about the complexity of the cell. So whenever the laser beam strikes at the D2 and D3, it tells that the shape of the cell was complex. So we have come to know that the number of cells by direct hit of the laser beam and the forward scatter, that tells us about the size of the cell, and the side scatters, they tell us about the complexity of the cells. Finally, we do the analysis of the forward scatter and the side scatter in order to determine the number and the complexity of the cells. So the first graph is about the forward scatter, the data obtained by the laser beam and the detectors through forward scatter. So on the y-axis we put the number of the cells, and on the x-axis we have applied the voltage, and the peak shows the number of cells that comes in the forward scatter. Same we can plot the graph for the side scatter, but the important thing is by the only forward scatter we can get the number or the size of the cells, and only with the side scatter we can get the complexity of the cells. But in the mixture we want to know both the things, the number, size and the complexity of the cells. So we combine the 2 graphs, that is as it is shown here. This is the graph for the forward scatter and this graph for the side scatter. Now we will combine or overlap these 2 graphs to know that whether the cell that is of big size is also complex or not, or the cell with the small size is complex or simple. So what we do, we now overlap these two graphs, that is of the forward scatter and of the side scatter. We have the basic idea that the cell with the high peak, so this is the high peak of the forward scatter. Whenever the forward scatter is obtained, we know that the cell is of bigger size. So this high peak of forward scatter means the cell is of big size. But if it overlaps over here, like if it overlaps with the high peak of the side scatter, what does the side scatter shows? Side scatter shows the complexity of the cell. So if both these peaks overlap or meet at the point where the data for forward scatter is high and the data for the side scatter is also high, it means that the size of the cell is big plus the cell is of complex shape. But when like over here, when we join this high peak of forward scatter means big size of the cell, with a small peak of the side scatter, it means the cell is of big size but is less complex. So by overlapping the two scattered images or the plots, we can get the idea about the size and complexity of the cells at the same time. What are the applications of the flow cytometry? Flow cytometry tells us about the idea of the number of the cells. So if we want to learn about the apoptosis, we want to know about the stages of the cell division like mitosis, we can use the flow cytometry technique. Thank you so much for listening.